Grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep.
And how about that for an intro song for our last predictions video of the year? That's Freddy's Coming for You. Of course, based off the Nightmare on Elm Street movie, part off the soundtrack. A great choice, a great movie, and it's Will trying something different because I think he knows what he's up against this week. So he decided to go a whole different route with our intro song. And doing something that we haven't done before. And I must say, Will, I love it. Great choice. And it's only going to get better as we get to the end of the video. So make sure you listen to all the way to the very, very end. So welcome, everyone, to our Week 17 predictions video. Only a couple things really to talk about, right? One main matchup left. I mean, there's a few others that are still going on, determining seeding and still some other prize money on the line. But for the most part, right, it's Will versus Sean. And they've already had a few games go by, and it's already pointing to the advantage of Sean. So, which is why Will, I think, had to appease the fantasy gods, and hopefully they like horror movies, and his intro song definitely helps. So, but let's jump into it, shall we? And let's really break down and take a look at really the main matchup here that matters. So, like we said, we had a few games already that have played, right? And you can kind of see the points that are on here right now. Will's already got 40 points to Sean's only 10, and you would think that would be a great advantage, but unfortunately, no. Will's had more players play so far. So he has Henry, who had a pretty good game, 24.5 points. You'll take that every time out of your running back consistently. But unfortunately, the rest of his team is struggling or has struggled more with only 12, Schultz with 4, and then a kicker. God, you gotta hate that kicker position sometimes because you think you nail it one week, and then the next week it could be the same guy against even worse defense. Or in this time, it was a better defense, a better team, and the whole team scored 2 points, and of course that wasn't from the kicker at all. So Sean didn't score a ton of points out of Charbonnet either, with only 10. Completely different from the week that I played him when that man got every touch. I mean, seriously, like every opportunity the ball went to him. But it was a whole different game. That game was ugly for any of you that watched it. Between the Bears, but yeah, brutal. So that's what's happened so far, right? So already Sean has the advantage. If we look at who's yet to play, it's probably going to be pretty close with who is left. Like you would think Daniels and Burrow projected about the same. That's probably where they'll be. Barkley and Gibbs, yeah. I mean, normally I wouldn't say that, but with Gibbs now really solo, getting even more of the opportunities there, I don't see why not. That would be a game that I'm hoping, right? I think we all are. Detroit's in control, and they just kind of run the ball and run out the game there. If we keep scrolling down, kind of the same thing. I mean, Will McConkey, hoping that could be the difference maker since he seems to be getting the ball a ton. But Sean's got Sutton, who any game can go off. We've seen it certain games where he excels, and same with Wilson. McBride, who just gets the ball a ton. McLaurin, man, if you just go down the list, yeah, it's brutal. For poor Will, on what he's looking at that he's up against, because he's up against the Dallas kicker, who, I mean, they don't have a lot to play for right now. It's kind of pride, but they're still out there trying, so I could see them. What a great upset that would be if they could actually win this week, right, against the Eagles here. And then he's also got the Eagles defense. So, my heart wants to pick Will to win. We've been picking him all year. I mean, if we kind of look at the breakdown, right? I mean, Will's been the number 1 seed, the powerhouse. He's been number 1 for really most of the year, especially since we've really started acknowledging it. And on the other side, right, you've got Sean, that number 6 seed, came out of nowhere, barely made the playoffs. At 7-7, defied the odds when all season long I was saying you can't make the playoffs at 7-7. You have to be 8-6 or you're not going to make it. He still made it based on also points and then just who ended up playing or who else won, lost at the right time. And then ever since then, I mean, when he decided to actually start playing, he's been on a tear. He's won quite a few games either in a row or if he's had a loss in there, you know, it was still a really good win-loss record to put him where he is today. So both of these teams should be very proud on their season. Will, just an outstanding year, just dominant all year long. And then, you know, Sean doing everything he can to piece his team together. And now he's probably very happy with how it all turned out based on who he drafted and who he picked up. And also, I know he's also, you know, watching out for keepers for next year. And I've been keeping an eye on his team. He's already got a good amount of keepers that he drafted last year. And he's been picking up some players, too, who will be great keeper considerations. So, like I just said, heart would be with Will. Would love to see Will. You know, you want to see the number one team who dominated all year win it. Like, that's just how it should be, right? The best team should win it, the best team all year. But unfortunately, it's fantasy football, and that doesn't mean crap in this league, right? It's week to week. It's how your team is performing now, and really how your team is going to perform today, being Saturday as we're recording this video, and then Sunday, and then Monday night. And unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, I gotta give the edge to Sean. I think as of right now, based on the uphill battle that Will's gotta, you know, play against here, it's going to be a challenge, especially with the players that he has left. And Sean's going to get his points. I could see Sean. I mean, they're only saying he's going to score 125 points, and that's almost a nowhere near what he's been averaging on a lot of these weeks and so on. I mean, his team can easily touch 160 points and so on. So can Will's, but unfortunately, with the start that Will's already had, it would be a challenge for him to get that high in points, and I think Sean could get there. So for this week, as much as it kills me inside, I'm going to pick Sean again to be the winner of the championship game here and win the title, the trophy as our best team. But there's quite a few games to go yet to determine that. So just because I picked it, we're still going to be hanging on the edge of our seats, hoping that maybe it will be a lot closer than what I'm giving it credit for. And you never know. Things go Will's way, especially after his choice of song here, or intro song. And then maybe will end up being able to pull out the victory. So there you go. There's my pick for who's going to win overall championship. Real quick, we'll look at the third place game. That's between Ian and Clint. I don't give this one much worry on the side of thinking Ian's going to be able to score enough points to keep up with Clint. I think Clint wins this pretty easily. Already what's happened, Stroud already had only 7 points, which really hurts Ian. Yeah, Boswell only had 4, and I know that, you know, he typically leads the team or based on, you know, per kicker position or so on for Clint with the amount of points he scores, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Clint's just too, especially top heavy with his running backs, even wide receivers. Yeah, poor Ian, so close, did so well on the year, but unfortunately, I think it's going to fall to Clint this week. Clint would then get third, which would then put Ian as the number 4. And unfortunately, you don't get any payout, Ian, for being number 4. So the last one to look at, we'll look at the losers bracket real quick. Scrolling down, we've got Adam versus Jay in the finals of the losers bracket, the lovers bracket, the consolation bracket, whatever you want to call it. I think it's definitely Adam's to win. Jay, if you look at Jay's team, we won't break it down here, but he's got a lot of players that are now out for the season. It's too much to overcome. It's kind of surprising that he's made it this far, really, with the team that he's been working with so far. So I do think Adam wins this one pretty easy and then gets to have the number 1 pick, which is something, right? Already looking for next year, you can really start focusing on your keepers, knowing you don't have to keep your first round player as a keeper based on having the number 1 spot, and then start planning out what the rest of the draft kind of looks like for you. So there you go. There's our predictions Just real quick though, we'll review the games we already talked about. There was games on Wednesday. There was one on Thursday night. It's also still a unique week as we've got 3 games playing today. At 1 o'clock, 4:30, and 8:10. Again, alongside a lot of college football games being played today. So there's just a lot of football on today that we all get to enjoy. And then, of course, the normal, I mean, I guess less than normal Sunday slate because of how many games have already played ahead of time, but there are no bye weeks. And then we have the Monday night game, as we all know, Detroit versus San Francisco. So there you go. And just think about it, right? The end of Monday, we'll be able to crown a champion, unless it's so close that we're waiting for stat corrections, but I doubt it. It'll probably be something we'll be able to kind of tell by the end of Monday for sure on what's going to be, final in our league. And then we'll be able to crown a champion over those next couple of days and do a dedication video just to our championship team and, make them feel great about it for 5 minutes. And then we move on to next year as how the rest of us are feeling that aren't in the playoffs anymore or really aren't fighting for anything meaningful. As of this week, we're just ready to start looking at our keepers and what's my draft position and what does next year look like. And we're not far from that. So, all right, well, let's get back to Will's choice of intro song here. Again, Freddie's Coming for You off the Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack to get us back in that mood for what hopefully will be one heck of a finish of our championship game. Once again, congrats to everybody who's made the playoffs, and especially those who are still fighting for something. And then good luck, Will, Sean, as it's all on the line over the next couple of days to determine then who will be our champion.